Awesome. Well, first of all, this is our products and passion call for a reason. We're very, very passionate about these products. We're very, very passionate about our purpose, and we're very, very passionate about the way that we conduct ourselves, being aware, of the things that are happening. And so at Purium, next slide, we like to say that we really rise to the moment, and we meet that moment in a very special way, because Purium is a company that understands, that really understands people and understands people's needs. We know that people are suffering, okay? We know that people, when they're suffering, are looking for answers, okay? And those answers come in a variety of ways. So I'm just going to ask Katie to flip to the next slide, because like we were saying, at Purium, we meet the moment, but we're here to talk about how Purium does that. What does it actually mean to meet the moment? Okay, next slide. This is the first time we've done a slideshow, so we're going to get better at it. But, what it means to meet the moment, I'm going to put it in a generic way. It means to do the right thing at the right time, to adjust your activities to your surroundings. For example, jackets are excellent during the winter, but you wouldn't wear one during a hot summer day. You wouldn't wear one to the gym. And conversely, you wouldn't go, to the top of a mountain in the snow to go skiing in shorts and a tank top. Meeting the moment really simply means understanding where you are and doing the right thing to guarantee the best outcome, okay? The best outcome for everybody involved. Okay, Katie. Now, when we look at, the world today, we could see that meeting the moment has to mean recognizing these things that exist in people's lives. I hear every day that people are tired and don't have the energy to make it through the day. We see that obesity is really prevalent in our society. We see that people are lacking sleep, that they live in food deserts, that they have poor digestion. They're burned out. Their bodies are full of environmental toxins, of toxins from food, and the financial stress of rising food prices, medical costs, limited resources, and quite honestly, leaky gut, that poor digestion and elimination is prevalent as well. And so rising to the moment at Purium, if we go to the next slide, rising to the moment at Purium means rising to the health moment, rising to the health moment and the economic moment in some really incredible ways, okay? So we want to provide solutions. We talk about leaky gut. Well, we talk about, and again, somebody put biorelaxer. It's supposed to be biomedic. And because they both start with bio, but it's biomedic, not biorelax. So excuse the slide, but biomedic, which is going to take care of the leaky gut situation, the lack of absorbing nutrients. We have the apothecary for antioxidants to reduce stress, cellular stress, and to help you get deep restful sleep. We've got the power shake that's going to meet the nutritional needs of a challenging world, and super aminos to help build muscle, super cleanser to get rid of parasites. But those are just a small part of what Purium is doing to help you make it through these times. It goes so much deeper than that. And yes, we're going to talk more about those products. We're going to show you the immune pack, the ULT and immune pack. But I wanted to show you that for us, being able to end human suffering takes many different forms. And we're going to talk about that tonight. how we rise to meet the moment, not just in one way, but in multiple ways, okay? Now, the reason why we added the word immune pack to the ULT is because we do nothing more than add zinc aid. Now, you can see in this picture, we have biomedic instead of biorelax. So please forgive that. And in this picture, we show the biomedic. Now, biomedic had a preclinical trial in the United States that showed that in only 6 weeks, dramatic changes were made. 74% of the toxin, okay, the toxin that leads to so many digestive difficulties, okay, called glyphosate, 74% of that is eliminated. And if the evidence of that is that the biomarker for inflammation, and you know that inflammation, inflammatory this, inflammatory that, this is the enemy of the body. Inflammation was reduced to corresponding 75% as measured by C-reactive protein. Now, if you want proof that, the use of this agricultural chemical leads to inflammatory conditions within the body, you need only see the correlation that when you reduce glyphosate by 74%, you reduce inflammatory markers by 75%. How much more evidence do we need? So repairing the gut is critical to people producing something called serotonin. And serotonin is a life-changing hormone because it makes you happy. That's right, it makes you optimistic. It makes you see things in a positive way. And when serotonin is suppressed, when it's reduced, when it is not being produced, which happens when our gut is, again, compromised, an unhealthy gut doesn't produce the proper amount of serotonin, leads to depression, and probably leads to the overuse of antidepressant drugs as well. So another chemical leading to the use of another drug. Isn't this something we're far too familiar with in our lives? Well, biomedic does something about that. It removes that toxic chemical. It fights against that inflammatory condition in the body, and it increases the body's ability to migrate nutrients from our gut into our bloodstream, to our cells, to nourish us deeply at a cellular level. That's why we call this transformative nutrition. So rising to meet the moment is critical because today, 75% of our food has glyphosate in it. 90% of our beverages have glyphosate in it. 99% of fetuses in their mother's wombs have detectable glyphosate in their blood. And this is unacceptable when we look at the potential correlation of glyphosate and so many conditions that include the potential correlation of so many conditions that include autism. And the relationship between the increased use of glyphosate and the increase of autism is something that has to be looked at in the most serious way. That's what rising to meet the moment means, okay? Now, zinc aid right there to the left in the picture of biomedic. Talk about rising to meet the moment. I'm going to talk about how at a time when I looked at this condition happening in our society, and I looked at all the people suffering, and I looked at all the different ways they were suffering, and I saw that there was a commonality. That commonality was a nutrient deficiency of critical nutrients called, and there's a word they call them, the reason they call them this, essential nutrients. Essential nutrients are essential to our survival. We need to have a daily intake of essential nutrients because they don't dwell in our body for very long. So they come from food. Our bodies cannot manufacture them. They can't synthesize them. And if you don't get them from food, then your body suffers because your immune system is dramatically reduced. Now, at a time when people really, really need their immune systems to be the opposite of dramatically reduced, we have something really amazing to offer. The world's first organic whole food source of zinc. That's right. It comes from papaya leaves. Who would have guessed? And this organic whole food source of zinc is combined with organic whole food sources of vitamin C, beta carotene, vitamin D in its most bioavailable form, and vitamin E. These are food-based organic nutrients that are, again, called essential for a reason. At a time when most Americans, 99% of Americans, are not getting organic whole food nutrition, when most people are deficient in not just one, but all of these essential nutrients that must come from food. I am the only company I know of, we are the only company that I know of that is offering an organic whole food source of them in exactly the ratios and the quantities that you need on a daily basis to keep your body in a state of optimal readiness from a physiological metabolic standpoint, using phytochemistry as the driver. Now look to the far right and look at the apothecary. If you're not sleeping a critical 2 hours at night called deep sleep, then you are not detoxing properly. You are not burning fat properly. You are not processing information properly. You're not detoxing your brain, your pineal gland, or your bowels properly. All because you're not getting 2 hours of what's called deep sleep. Now, deep sleep is so critical that if you only get 2 hours of sleep that leads into deep sleep and 2 hours of sleep that comes out of deep sleep, you will still feel as though you got 8 hours of amazing sleep. That's how critical those 2 hours are. Now, apothecary is the only food that has a substantial amount, meaning enough melatonin to be measurable and effective at helping you create deep, not just restful, but rejuvenating sleep each and every night. And for those of you who use it and know that, give me some big heart, 3, whatever you want to do, and let people know that that cherry is colored red for a reason, because it will bring you the heartfelt sleep, okay, the sleep we need and love. That's rising to meet the moment for a nation that does not sleep enough. Now, another way that we rise to meet the moment is in a time when people are looking at vegan lifestyles, gluten-free lifestyles, and things like that. We have the most effective vegan protein ever introduced to the world. Nothing can compare. 36 double-blind clinical studies published in peer-reviewed journals. This protein appeared in the physician's desk reference, the reference that doctors use when they need to help their patients who are on dialysis machines, who are paralyzed, who are literally in comas and cannot exercise and would die from muscle wasting. This is the only protein that could put muscle on someone who's paralyzed or in a coma, muscle on somebody who is on a dialysis machine, and the very organs that process protein do not work. Imagine that. Talk about rising to meet the moment. This entire pack does nothing but rise to meet the moment. But I want to take you beyond that. I want to ask for our next slide, okay? And I want to take you beyond that, because we rise to meet the moment in so many ways, okay? Here's another way that Purium rises to meet the moment. Katie, next slide. Economically, okay? Because when you are taking the ULT, this is what we call subtraction by addition and addition by subtraction. Now, when you add Purium into your food budget, it seems as though that's a plus. But suddenly you start to see all the ways that it begins to save you money. Okay, all the ways it begins to save you money. So you save on groceries that you don't buy. Okay, the things that you don't buy because you're not eating as many meals. You're going to be replacing one, hopefully 2 meals a day when you're doing the ULT. And if you used to eat 4 meals, you're going to only eat 2. If you used to eat 3 meals, you're going to only eat 1. And if you used to snack, you're not going to be doing as much of that either. Next slide, please. Now, we're going to help you save money on eating out. Now, the average American spends $200 approximately on just dining and food delivery. In other words, I don't want to cook it. I don't have the time. If you don't have the time to cook and you need to be nourished right away, why wait for something to be delivered? Why go out to dine, make a power shake, take your aminos, bam. Okay. So we're saving people not only on the groceries and the meals they don't buy at home, we're saving on those fast food meals as well. And let's face it, that could really add up if you go to work and you're buying lunch, okay? And you're eating out and going to Starbucks, that could really add up. But we're going to talk about that in a minute, because there's other ways we help people as well. Katie, next slide. That have nothing to do with food itself. See, Americans spent $425 billion on over-the-counter medicine. Now, no, there's only 350 million Americans. And, you know, divide that 425 billion by 350 million, and you could see that we're also spending hundreds, yes, thousands of dollars a year on over-the-counter medications to relieve little ailments. Okay? Well, I guarantee you this, people who use Purium report they don't have these little ailments. They don't have headaches and little colds and things like this that end up needing to spend this money on over-the-counter medications. There's more subtraction by addition. You add the Purium ULT plus Immune to your budget, and suddenly you get to deduct all of this from your expenses. And that's powerful. Now, next slide. Anyone who's ever done, okay. I'm sorry, one more. Anyone who's ever done a healthy lifestyle change, a radical healthy lifestyle change, knows that that's crazy expensive. Like crazy expensive. Shopping for seasonal, organic, fresh, ripe, tasty fruits and vegetables takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of driving, a lot of gas, a lot of, a lot of money. And at Purium, we help you save time because it's so convenient. You're not running out to the store. It gets delivered to your door. We help you eliminate waste because these fruits and vegetables come with so much excessive plastic packaging, especially if you have them brought to your door. But if you buy them at the store, most people still put them into those little plastic bags if they're not already in something to begin with. And finally, think about this. The food that we don't eat, according to statistics, up to 50% of the fresh fruits and vegetables we buy are never consumed because they go overripe or we don't think they're ripe enough. Think about that watermelon you buy and you cut it open and you're like disappointed and you don't end up eating it. Okay. So that means that you're really spending twice as much on those blueberries, twice as much on those peaches and apples, because it's not just the price you paid and the cost of going to the store to get it. It's the part that you never ended up eating. And in some vegetables, you end up cooking the nutrients right out of them anyway. And so there's another side of this as well. So next slide, please. Okay. So, was that the next slide? Okay, here we go. Katie, are you with me? Is that the next slide?
I don't know if you can hear me. Yes, it is.
Okay, I'm so sorry. It looks so similar to the last one, and my screen's a little bit further away than I realized. So let me get back on track here, and just maybe give me 1 second to check my notes. I'll be right back. Want to make sure I've got it right. Okay, I can't find my slide, but that's okay. I think that it's you save on what you don't crave. And since I wrote the slide, I don't need to read it. You see, there's a lot of times when we get hungry because our cells aren't satisfied. And when we're taking our 2 power shakes a day, and when we're taking our apothecary at night, it's not just a matter of not being hungry, not having the impulse items, not eating the extra food. Okay, we also are not going to crave sweets, and we're not going to crave carbohydrates because of something that we call the bitters effect. The bitters effect is based upon science, and in Ayurvedic medicine, they have known this for thousands of years, or at least over 1,000 years, that when you have bitters in your diet, it helps diabetics not to crave sweets and carbohydrates, especially simple carbohydrates. Now, the greens in the power shake and the sour cherries in apothecary are all considered bitters according to herbal medicine. And they will reduce your cravings for sweets, reduce your cravings for carbohydrates. And when you're not pulling in because of these carbohydrate cravings that trigger us to want to have something, anything, an impulse purchase, Starbucks coffee, a Red Bull, some donuts, who knows what it might be. Even if it's a healthy snack, it might be expensive and not very, again, nourishing. Just because it's organic and vegan doesn't mean it necessarily is meeting your nutritional needs. It just means it's not so bad for you. And so, again, I want to remind you that we're rising to the moment by helping you economically at a time when people are really needing more money for gas, for their food bills, for their other expenses. And Purium has become an economic benefit to so many people, not because they share it with others, although that's really, really cool. And I hope that everyone wants to do that as well, but because they've shared it with themselves, because they're using it in their family. And in so many ways, Purium is helping you to meet today's moment with your immune system, okay, with your grocery bill, with your doctor bill, with your transportation bill. In all of these ways, we're letting you know that we don't just know who you are, we're one of you, okay? We're one of you. And so, in our final words, I just want to say that we save money by the doctor's visits we don't go to. We save money by the prescriptions we don't have to pay for, even with a deductible. We save money on the days we don't miss from work, and if we end up having those personal time off days that we don't use for sick days and we could use those to do something for ourselves and our family, well, that's really cool. And I always did that when I had a job. I never had to take a day off because I was really sick. I took a day off because I was sick. You know what I mean? And so, and then the most important thing though is, what is the cost to humanity for the daily discomforts of arthritis, of poor digestion, of obesity, the things we don't do, the fun we don't have, the joy we don't experience, the love we can't step into, the family time we don't get, the vacations we don't take, the walks we never take either, simply because we don't have the energy, we don't have the strength, we don't have the will or the desire anymore. Well, Purium gives that all back to you in so many ways. Okay. So that diminished life quality, how much is that worth to you? How much would you pay? Well, that's what Purium people know. The Purium lifestyle pays you back way more. So again, we started out by saying addition, subtraction by addition. We're taking away your pain. Okay. Purium meets that health moment. That's what we mean. And so for each of you, who joined us tonight, I want to thank you for being on this journey with me. And we're better together at Purium. So get back with the person who invited you to join this call and tell them, I want to know more about this Purium. I want to know more about these products. I want to know more about the ultimate lifestyle transportation. I want to know more about this immune pack. And I want to know more what it feels like Dave said, what it feels like to wake up every morning with the energy, with the stamina, with the focus, with the endurance to get you all the way till sunset and beyond. Sunset and beyond, with the energy that you always knew that you deserved, that God created your body to deliver to you. And now it's up to you to step into that gift, to accept that gift, to know it's always been waiting there for you. Okay, the gift has always been waiting there for you. It's inside of you. And it's just up to you to let it out.